Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Blading Culture Podcast. My name's Eric. Today I managed to finally catch up with Elliot Boyers, the creator of SLiQX grind wheels. We talked rollerblading, we talked patents, we talked hardware, we talked a little bit about some of his products and SLiQX grind wheels and some of the materials that he's been using and some of the processes that he's been using. I hope you all enjoy it. If you want to support this, remember you can head on over to patreon.com/Blading Culture Podcast. You can pledge a small amount, whatever you want. If you don't want to pledge, that's cool. Just, if you like this, give it a share with your friends. Your feedback is always appreciated. Cheers, guys. Enjoy. Elliot, how do you pronounce your surname? Is it Boyers?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, no, it's all right. Everyone, a lot of people say Boyers. So don't worry about it. I'm used to it. Yeah, it usually gets turned to Elliot Gerlers after a while as well. Yeah. I've never been too fond of my name, to be honest, but you got to live with it. I mean, it's character building.
Yeah. Where are you from?
Lincolnshire. Lincoln is where I live now. Grew up in Tealby. It was a very tiny little village near Market Raisin. Market Raisin is kind of known for its races, the horse racing.
Okay.
Not really my scene. Parents were in that scene for a little bit, and it starts to once you see that side of it, you realise it's all a sham. It's all set up. They pretty much know who's going to win before it's even started. Yes, and it's so dodgy. It's really dodgy. It's so corrupt. So it kind of put us all off for life.
Yeah,
we're not really bothered about that. Yeah. But not really much to skate growing up where we live. We had the old Creme at Grimsby, and that was awesome, run by the old dude called Gary. But he was such a nice guy that he would always let people in for free. So you're never going to make any money that way. I think that's what happened anyway. But it probably also because the scene was slowly dying as well with blading. But it did have a beautiful half pipe in it as well. It was it felt similar to one you got at Corby, but it wasn't as big. It was probably a 12-foot, but it was built really well. And there were some really good skaters in there as well too.
Yeah.
I only used to go there maybe once or twice a month. So my level of skating when I was younger was never really that high at all. And when I was 18 and discovered booze and girls and cars and stuff, then and I had a year out and did snowboarding, and I was like, I'm a snowboarder now, and put my skates back on, and I was like, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good anymore. What's wrong? So I just kind of ditched them. And then when I was at uni, I just kind of tried it again, but never really got back into it. And I was like, I'm a b-boy now, so I was fancy myself doing that.
Yeah.
Ended up having to stop doing that after I knocked one of my teeth out doing a backflip on a backflip to face plant. I've got it's on video somewhere. I knocked one of my teeth out, and I was like, I've got to stop doing this. I actually hurt myself more breakdancing than I ever did skating.
Oh really?
Cracked kneecaps, broken toes, broken toenails all the time. Because if you're doing windmills and head spins and stuff, when you fall over, you've still got a lot of momentum, and you'll just whack them straight into the floor.
Yeah, you've got to try and stop yourself somehow, haven't you?
Yeah, and I didn't really have the best sort of mentality to it. I was still quite stressed whenever I was trying stuff, and you got to be relaxed. You got to have a lot of flow, and that was something that I only learned when I did Wing Chun in Lincoln with my instructor. It's called Jason Kokoris, and he's a Greek guy, but like it's deadly. When you just meet somebody, it's one of those sort of deadlies that it's just deadly, and you wouldn't even know what he's done and how the hell he got there in the first place. He knows. He just taught me how to. With Wing Chun, you got to relax to actually make it work. If you don't relax, then your opponent can use your weight against you. So, but basically, you can be more controlled. And then once I'd sort of learned how to actually relax, I started. I got asked by my mate Belty, so big up for Belty for doing that for me. He was just like, could you just come for a roll with us? And I was like, sure, anything for a mate, of course I will. And as soon as I dropped in, I was like, I'm back on this again. And just taking that same mentality of just try and be relaxed with everything, like when you fall over. If you relax, you don't hurt yourself really, do you?
No, I've found that myself personally, like just going with it, except for handrails. Like, I mean, honestly, I was talking about handrails earlier on a podcast. Like, no amount of relaxation is going to prepare you for, falling off handrails.
No,
there's just something about it.
You just don't fall off in a nice way, do you? It just,
No.
if you clip it, you get flung, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of stay away from handrails. I'm not allowed to. The missus kind of said, don't. And she smacked me in the thigh on where I bruised myself on the last handrail I did. So I'm not risking that one again.
You're banned from all handrails.
I'm banned from handrails.
I'm banned from riding down canals after I nearly died in one a few
really?
months ago, mate. Yeah, honestly, I was recording a podcast. I was out for a ride on my fixed gear, like, just taking in the scenery, talking about the scenery, and talking about like on a roll and stuff. Because it was for the On a Roll podcast. It wasn't for Blading Culture.
Right.
And then I tried to get out of the way of this lady, and unfortunately my wheel dug in. I ended up in the canal. She wandered off, like, cheers. A cyclist drove past, nodded at me. Clearly, you could see I wasn't dead, but he didn't stop to help me in any way. So I'm banned from all canals. Fixed gear's gone now. I'm back to my rollerblades.
Yeah. So I'm not too bothered about being banned from handrails. They've always scared me, so it's not a bad thing. And plus, I don't really like getting told off all the time, or told to move on. I'm almost 35, and I don't like it when security guards are telling me to go have fun somewhere else. Like a kid.
Coming over and talking down to you, right?
Yeah. That's all right. Can you're damaging our property? And it's like, well, really, actually, they're just having to do their job. They would have been told to get you out of the way anyway, wouldn't they? So you can't really ever go at them too much. So
no.
Yeah,
well,
it's just
the best rails in my town happen to be outside the front of our police station. So whenever I'm on there, they tend to move me on. I think my first excuse was, well, you're a public service and I pay for you. That makes these rails belong to me, but they didn't wash off very well. I thought that might go down well, but apparently not. Can I just check that you can hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, man.
Yeah. Is there anything? I know that when we spoke, we talked about slicks and about the ramps and things like that. And you mentioned acetal. I just want to clarify.
I say acetal.
Acetal. Is that how you pronounce it?
Well, that's how I pronounce it. It's probably different all the way around the world, but I think that's actually a brand name. I think the chemical symbol for its PO or something. I can't quite remember. But essentially, it's just a harder plastic than UHMW, which is what everybody else seems to use. I know you get different grades of it. And I think it really comes down to cost, and that's the reason why a lot of companies go for UHMW. A lot of us call it Humphy in my industry anyway. And I don't like working with it either, because you have to use coolant all the time, because if you don't, it sort of burns and it's a pain. As soon as your plastic melts, you don't get a good finish on it. It tears and it's all horrible. Whereas the acetal, when I'm making the wheels, how I do that is I just buy a piece of round bar in at 50 mil. And it always comes in at 50.8, so it's a bit bigger. So when you turn it down, you've got a little bit extra to finish it up, get a nice finish on it. Yeah. And I can just use the regular tools that I normally have, on a standard lathe. Whereas if I was using UHMW and I wanted to get a decent cut, I'd probably have to cut my own tools from silver steel to get it right. Yeah. And that's a bit of a farce in itself. And then if you have a problem, if one of it chips or it breaks or you have an accident, you've got to regrind it again. So if you use standard parts to make it, it makes it a bit quicker. And it's all done on a lathe with a micro. I don't use a micrometer really. I should, but I've been doing it for so long now that I can just use a pair of calipers and just put it to within like 0.05 of a millimeter, sort of perfect, which is close enough. I mean, I've had a few comments from people saying that they really like the way that the bearings pushed in, but I have found that I've seen a lot of people like struggle to get their bearings in and out of wheels. When you're sat at the side trying to get your session going, and you're just like, oh, I've got to try and get that. Yeah, I saw some kid doing that with a scooter wheel, a 125mm scooter wheel, I think it was. And it was solid aluminium all the way through. And these things must have been properly pressed in, because he was having to smack it with a hammer. He had his own proper kit for trying to smack this thing out. It wasn't the best, but yeah, it was having to put in some proper welly into it. And I was like, well, so these grind wheels, they're not going to have lots of pressure off people like for ages, are they? It's only going to be for a short amount of time, a couple of seconds at most, unless you're really good and you're going down handrails all the time, but you're probably mostly going to keep it in the groove then anyway, aren't you?
Exactly. It's not like a sustained pressure, is it? It's
no.
a fleeting thing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I figured I can just get away with making them just a little bit looser, so you can actually try and get them out. And I'm sure in some cases, some people might be thinking, who have bought them might be thinking, well, hang on a minute, mine are still a bit tough. But yeah, they are still all made. They all are going to be slightly different, because I am doing it all by hand at the moment, until I actually get my own little injection molder, which I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make all myself, because I might as well. It's a lot cheaper. The parts are so much cheaper rather than buying a tabletop press. I can buy a tabletop press that'll be about $2,500. But even then, I could make that for maybe £100 in my workshop, with it, just being retrofitting something else. And then on top of that, you're looking at 25,000 to 35,000 for a basic injection molder. That's a good sort of mass production sort of scale, where it's just coming in and out constantly, just and you got 6. Or 8 in a couple of seconds. But I am not there yet. I'm just starting out. No, I'm literally just doing all of these in my spare time after work, or if there's not too much work on, actual work. This is just something I'm just doing in my spare time. And they're really, all of them, they're all just still research and development, because I'm still working with changing whips on stuff and changing sizes just here and there, just for the chamfer sizes can be slightly different on some, and the thicknesses might be 0.1 of a mil thicker on some than others. I think Daniel Smith actually got some of the widest ones. He actually had a bit of trouble getting his in. I think he had to take his spacers out to actually put them in. So yeah, Daniel, if your wheels are sliding from side to side a little bit, send them back and I'll sort them out for you. he
put them on them Solomons, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He's got them on.
The simultaneously destroying and supporting the industry.
Yeah, he's doing well there. He's got a lot of Solomons, actually. I think he's got about 3 or 4 pairs. But yeah, he's also on it with buying everything from everybody as well.
Yeah.
So can't knock him for that. I think he actually got some butter up as well, which is a friend of mine, Noki.
I was going to ask you.
Who skates in Lincoln as well. Yeah, he does that all himself. It's a great little package that he's got going on there. Yeah. The wax smells really nice, and the package is good, because you don't get wax all over your bag. You don't need an extra bag to put it in.
Yep. It's kind of got like a self-contained container, hasn't it? That it comes out of, like them roll-ons.
It's a bit like a deodorant roll-on. Yeah, it's a bit like that. You just kind of twist it and just add a bit more. Yeah, and everyone says, "Oh, yeah, it smells nice around here." Yeah, it's good. It's quite strange that Lincoln's got 2 little manufacturers that we kind of work together with some stuff. We have like a little events thing that we do called Rolling Links, but because we're all sort of new parents and getting to that stage where you can't always just go out and party all the time, we find it hard to always get the events done.
Yeah,
but it's quite strange that when there's hardly anywhere to skate around here, because there's no skate spots, there are no handrails really. I mean, when I used to come skate here when I was younger, we just used to find this like wooden bench that was down beside the canal that runs through it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really short and it was awful, but it was just like, well, I'll get to skate something. And that was pretty much all we had. And that and the one at Market Raisin, and that's just got torn down now. And that was one of those skate parks where you go, what were they thinking? It was just a T-shaped bit of like tarmac, and then they just put a kicker in the middle of it that had a smaller kicker down the side of it with another like transition coming off 90 degrees. With a couple of handrails down one side that were just deadly. That you couldn't really do anything on them. So to get any speed to jump the thing, you had to run along the grass before you got up to it. You had to really put in some welly to get over it.
There's quite a few of these skate parks floating around the UK that, I mean, I remember seeing there was either an Instagram group or a Facebook group where it was dedicated to like the UK's worst skate parks.
I'm pretty sure that's Matt King, isn't it?
Possibly, but some of them were just dire. I don't know what the councils were thinking when they were putting it in. Like,
so they must just be somebody they've got who said, "Oh, I know how to do this. Yeah, it's easy. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I'll do it for you." And has just probably looked at a couple of things and gone, "No, yeah, I can fit all of that in that space. Yeah, that'd be fine." Yeah. I do sometimes wonder about that with some of the concrete stuff that you still get now, though. I liked it. I just went to that Hornsey thing. I missed the jam. Damn, got a freaking plumbing issue. I had a leak coming through the roof through one of my lights. Turned out it was a radiator that was leaking. But,
oh my god!
Yeah, so I ended up missing the event. Got there right at the end when everybody was like packing up, and I just found that it was really well made. But I did find that the radius on the little half pipe was a little bit too intense. Like, especially if you wanted to come out of it, which they'd intended it for you to do. I just thought it felt like it was like a 6 foot radius rather than an 8 foot.
Okay.
And I know it sounds really pernickety and really picky, but maybe that's just what bladers prefer. Maybe skateboarders and scooter riders don't notice it.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Because there was another little part of it on one corner. It was like a little corner bowl bit that they put in there, and that had a really intense little radius on that. It's probably about a 4 or 5 foot radius. But I could only hit that backwards. I couldn't actually hit that forwards. Yeah. It just kind of jerked me around.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just being picky, and because I've just been trying to study that with building my own ramps.
Yeah.
I don't suppose you noticed or saw my prototype got stolen.
Actually, no, I did. I didn't know whether or not I was sort of planning on bringing up the ramps, because I don't know what your plans for the ramps were, but I noticed that it got stolen. I wanted to know if you'd got it back yet.
No. Well, luckily, I live in a cul-de-sac sort of area, and you can't not notice when something's going on. There's the amount of people that hate us, and luckily one of my neighbours took a photo of the vehicle that did it.
Oh, okay.
Apparently he came back the next day and was delivering a parcel to my house, which is just like the cheek of it. So he must have known as well.
Yeah.
He must have been scouting it out.
Mm.
And then it's been spotted as well, Market Raisin as well, which is weird. But that was just somebody just saying that on Facebook. So I don't know how much that was actually real, because it could have been another ramp, but he did say he looked at it and was like, "Oh, that's quite distinctive."
Yeah, I was going to say
it's quite distinctive.
When I saw your ramp, I thought, I've never seen anything like it. I've certainly never seen anyone do something like that. And
right, well, I didn't think it was that special.
Well, I've skated many parks, and I've skated a couple of dodgy little setups that people have made and things like that, and just to have those strips was just a bit. When you first told me about it, I was like, okay, and then obviously when I started learning a bit more about the material, I was like, well, this could actually be kind of cool. There's less wood involved, and I've always been held back by wood on ramps, so I thought maybe it'd be something cool. But obviously, if you've still not got the ramp, I can't even come and play on it.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm now planning like the next stage. That was just a proof of concept to see if it would work.
Yeah.
And it seems to. I think I over-engineered it a bit. Yeah. I don't think I needed to use quite that big box section for the actual struts. They ended up being really strong.
Yeah.
So I'm going down to like 1.5 inch box section instead. I'm going to try a 4 foot mini and see how wide I can get away with before I have to use another set of profiles.
Yeah.
And then I'm also going to put an acetyl strip under the coping and on top, so that you're never going to have that. So hopefully you shouldn't have that issue where you've got screws sticking up or a bit of wood protruding, where it's just come off a little bit.
Finger traps are never good, but from what I could see, there didn't seem to be an issue with finger traps. It looked quite snug.
Yeah, that can be a thing that you have to look at a little bit with the placement of the actual skin.
Yeah.
Just because of expansion and contraction with the heat.
Yep.
But it's actually not too much. It's only like 0.1 of a mil again. even in the hottest of summer.
Yeah.
Problem I have just noticed though is that it's black. In the summer, it's going to get really hot in it. Yeah, so you wouldn't want to fall on that. So I'm going to have to see if I can get the manufacturers to change that recycled plastic into I don't know, if a white would be awesome, but even if it was just kind of a neutrally kind of greyish colour, that would be helpful, wouldn't it? Just because it'd be a little less hot.
Yeah, a little less absorbent.
Yeah.
So in terms of SLiQX, what's the deal there? When did you start SLiQX? What was making a grind wheel always a goal for you, or was it just a case?
No, I just thought, I should give that a go. There's no reason why I shouldn't. And I'll just try it with I was going to try it with PTFE, which is Teflon. Yeah, basically. And someone just went, well, that's a bit overkill, isn't it? Especially for the price. And I was like, oh, yeah, he's probably right. So then I just went, I've got some acetal upstairs. I'll just try a set of that. So that's when I made my first ones and put them on the Nemesis.
Yep.
I went for a skate at Rock City with them, and I was like, well, these are pretty fast. These feel pretty fast. And someone just went, yeah, everything's waxed. And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough then. And I made a couple more, got a couple more people to just try them out, just around, a couple of my friends to try them out. And they started to say, yeah, these are actually pretty good. So I just thought, let's keep at it. And it's never been profitable at all.
No.
I mean, it takes me half an hour to do 4 wheels. And that's now that I'm really proficient at it as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not making any money on that at all. By the time, I've sent them out and packaged them, I've got those stickers and everything like that.
Yeah.
I'm really just doing this for the love of the sport, because I just want to give back to what the sport's given back to me.
I think that's important though as well. If your whole project is focused on just making as much money as possible, making it profitable, do you worry about losing some of the fun in it? And that's one of the nice things about the podcast. I don't ever plan to make any money from it, so I'm just kind of enjoying it whilst I'm doing it.
Yeah, and to be honest, if you really think about it, it's you kind of are making like a bit of history as well, something that's recorded, to say we were here, we are here.
Yeah.
This is, we've got something there that actually everything points to.
Yeah. Did you ever try and make the grind wheels out of UHMW?
No.
Did you just go straight for the acetal? Or acetal?
Acetal.
Acetal?
Acetal, yeah. I went straight for the acetal just because I was like, well, I was never happy with UHMW because I have sets of sole plates that I've just used, and just people have been like, mate, your soles are so slow. I'm like, yep. I want to get rid of these. So yeah, I've always kind of had it in the mind to try and want to make stuff, but the grind wheels have been the first point of call.
Yeah.
If I can get these grind wheels if I can make my little injection molder and make that work and make the product come out just as well as I have been turning them, then I'll take it to the next stage and maybe try doing some sole plates.
See, now I know you mentioned sole plates. That was my next question. I was going to ask whether or not the sole plates would also be made out of the same material as the grind wheels.
Yeah, I've tried it.
From what I know, I don't even know what most of our average sole plates are made out of. I remember the old 2-piece USD sole kit. That was UHMW, wasn't it? On the very old ones. But I don't think they are anymore.
No, like I said, you can get lots of different types of grades of stuff, and I'm not even entirely sure what like the Aeons are made out of. It's probably the same stuff, but again, different grade. But I'm pretty sure like some of the old Cooties and stuff, they were made almost entirely out of PTFE at one stage. And they did slide. They were really good. And I really wish I'd never sold them.
Mind Game did those Higgs boson, didn't they? What were they? What were they? Do you know?
I'm not sure what they were. I never had a set.
I've got a set in my box, but all the writings come off them, so I can't even try and figure out. Maybe someone who's listening will know what the Mind Game wheels are made out of.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will be able to know. Will know what's going on with those. But yeah, they did look awesome, and I always do sort of look at them and think, it'd be nice to put those sort of edges on it. But then I was like, the amount of work it would take me with a milling machine to do that on each one.
I can imagine.
And yeah, then it's a bit of a pain again. But yeah, I've actually made a couple of other prototypes where I've just sort of thought, oh, I could try doing this. I've even got a set that will glow with some bits that glow in the dark.
Ooh.
And it took me that long to make them that I was like, I'm never doing that again. That's just ridiculous. So yeah, I might do it one day for like a special like giveaway prize or something like that. Or
some glow in the dark.
Special occasion. Yeah, some glow in the dark ones. So they'd probably look better when you're like out riding in Barcelona or something.
Yeah.
And that's actually got a bit of decent sunlight rather than the British greyness.
I was going to say, these last couple of days have been so sunny here in Manchester. I'm covered. I'm sunburnt from top to toe. I kid you not. I've been doing gardening for the last like 3 days. That's why this podcast has been such a squeeze to fit in. Like the sun's been beautiful. So, but you mentioned you skate on your own a lot. Like,
yeah, I'm a bit of a loner. I think it kind of happens a lot in Lincoln because there's only a handful of us as well. It's not that easy for us all to meet up. So yeah, like I say, you just got to grab it when you can.
Yeah.
But unless there's an actual meet going on that's been organised, that's a lot of the time when a lot of us get to see one another again. It's quite funny.
Yeah, obviously there's quite a big scene here, and everyone's really sort of upbeat and positive. And I mean, if you there's a Facebook chat called the 2018 Rolling Planner. I don't know if you're in it, but everyone is just a session all of the time. All of the time, it's crazy up here. But having kids, I just don't even get to go. Like I can maybe pull in one session a week these days. It's always a good skate. It's always a good skate, but I just haven't got the time. And just mixing it with that and work and everything. But I was going to ask, obviously, because you're now making grind wheels. You're making grind wheels at home. Like, where did the experience come from in terms of making these grind wheels? Have you got a background in manufacturing? Is that where?
Yeah, I did. I did product design and innovation at uni in Portsmouth. I actually chose Portsmouth Uni because of the skate park, and I went there 2 or 3 times, and that was it. It was a bit sad, isn't it? But yeah, then I came out of uni and ended up being like, oh, I still don't know really what I'm doing with this. I kind of actually really wanted to do footwear design.
Okay.
And then my parents sort of went, well, why don't you do product design? Because you could still do footwear design with that if you wanted to. Which I've thought, well, that's pretty sound advice. But in hindsight, it turned out that the course was actually a bit too broad and was not specialised really in anything. And then I ended up sort of being like, well, I went out to Dubai to try and make quick money out there. Went there at the wrong time and got screwed over big time.
Oh, really?
Hit that recession as well. Yeah. Came back with no money, like tail between my legs. Had to start life all over again. And I came back and worked with my parents. They had an air engineering shop, and I'd always grown up in that environment. So, it was just kind of like just hop on the machines, start getting better, and just start getting good. I've just been doing it ever since I came back from there, and I love it now. It's I've been able to use quite a lot of my degree with my job now.
Yeah,
which is good. And it's really helped with obviously trying to build these ramps as well, trying to design them all virtually before I actually do it, in real life. It makes a big difference because then you're not wasting the materials.
Exactly, yeah. Like if you're coming in with a solid plan when you're building a product, it definitely helps to, know where you're going with it and sort of see it all finished before you actually touch it, if that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. Like that prototype that I made, the profiles of it, I got them water jet cut out.
Okay.
And so that was 500 quid just for the 2 side profiles. But, and it's a research and development project and it's a prototype, that's the money you end up spending, which is not what a lot of people really realize, when because people come to me quite often and say, oh, I've got this idea for a prototype. I want to make this. And I'm like, right, okay, well, nothing's ever been made like that. So this is the amount of hours it's going to take to make it. This is what it's going to cost to design, to do the drawings for you, time to check it, make sure it put it together, quality control on that as well. You start to see their jaw drop. And
yeah.
It's like, oh, I think I'm going to reassess this now. And then that's when you get a lot of great ideas, which just never make it past the first stage, just because it's like, oh, well, yeah, it's going to be too expensive to start now.
Well, funnily enough, we've spoken about ideas a couple of times over Facebook, and something that I wanted to ask you is, are your grind wheels patented?
No, they are not. Yeah, I know. I get a little bit heated when people start going on about patents. And, I do have a tendency to get a bit heated, or sound a bit heated, definitely on Facebook. And most of the time, I am just being a bit kind of tongue in cheek and kind of stirring the pot a little bit. I don't really mean any offense to anybody if I ever have.
No.
Yeah, shout out to Liam Spitfire. I hope you're listening. Love you, man. But yeah. When it comes to patents, I have not patented it. It's a wheel. It's, I can't patent the wheel. No. It's the oldest invention ever, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't really patent the size on it because, anybody could just take it up a size, down a size. The process on it, the material isn't mine, is it?
No.
It's already got a brand on it, so there's nothing I can do on that. What I am trying to, the reason that I think they are selling is because I try and make sure they are good quality and everything is, bang on quality with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to try and give people a product where they're going, they've got to try and make it a bit cheaper because of this.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what you get with some skates. Where, with the Aeons, with the white and the black when they came out, a lot of people complained about how the mid straps were a bit, kind of, yeah. And I have found that with some skates, you did get it. And I think it's, one, to bring down the cost, and two, because they probably know most people are going to change that anyway.
Yep.
They're going to mod it whatever they can, aren't
they?
Yeah. But yeah, I'd just like to try and make it so that if you buy a product in Britain, it's going to be good quality. Yeah. And that's it. I think that's a good way of actually going about business as well, especially if people are going to want to talk about politics and where we're going to go forward after everything with it that comes to Brexit. If people want to buy British, they will, if they know, it might be expensive, but it's good quality.
It's good quality.
So buy British because of that. And that would be the best way I think we should go forward as a country, as a whole, as a scene, as whatever. Come to England because it's quality.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we are starting to get there. I think we're being a bit more diverse nowadays as well, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's ironically, we do have a lot of I guess, big companies involved with rollerblading. Not like your corporate giants, but you've got the conference and you've got USD in general, and they're big brands, and they're always going to push out content and they're always going to push out products. But you always know they're going to be the same products. I don't know. I mean, I've not rode the Aeons yet. I've heard good things. I've heard bad things. So I'm sort of on the fence about buying a pair now. I know that when I spoke to Matty last, I was adamant I was going to get some Aeons. But there are I'm aware of, there's no British companies making rollerblades, is there?
There could be. I don't know. There might be somebody out there who might be making them in his shed, a bit like the grind wheels, but I don't know. But there's probably people out there who make hobby hockey skates and stuff like that. And what I find is quite weird how we're still not connected with any of that. We're all quite divided still. Same with the whole Moxie girl thing. I've got no issue with the girls joining in with the guys at all. But it still seems to be a little bit of a divide yet. We still need to sort of bridge all those gaps, especially with the recce stuff. I mean, I've noticed loads more people getting into it as well with the big wheels, and that's because it's damn fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Whizzing
it's
about.
Like going skiing. Yeah. And what I've noticed since getting back into skating, every time I try something different, whether like just going to the roller disco and having an 80mm setup, or just trying on some quads and skating about in them for a bit, or getting on a 125mm setup. All of it actually improves the rest of your aggressive blading anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, just trying something new, then getting back into your skates so you also feel the difference in the skates also makes a big difference on, how your style can progress and the different tricks that you can learn on a big wheel setup, then sort of go, I can actually do that on a smaller setup as well. But I just didn't know it was possible, but the big wheel setup can just help you kind of find that sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, I see why people sort of play around on wizard frames. I'm sure once they start going back to something like a flat setup on a 72 instead of an 80, and then work their way down, I might be able to do those same things.
Yeah, well, I mean, I personally find that switching skates up and switching up my hardware, I actually progress quite quickly because I'm kind of having to change the way that I skate and adjust the way that I skate depending on what hardware I'm using. Every time I pick up a different pair of skates, like I either like go through a patch where I'm just progressing really quickly because I'm either enjoying being on something different, or I'm realizing that it wasn't the pair of skates that I had before that was the reason I was able to do the tricks. It's just me, and moving from one skate to another can often like increase my progression. Like sometimes you'll hit a brick wall, what I used to do is I'd hit a brick wall, I'd buy new skates, be stoked on having new hardware, and then go out and skate, and I'd be back on that like progression again.
It's funny how that works. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, you get that new kind of shoe feel, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
And I once won a little sprint race when I was a little kid. You're doing the sports days.
Yeah.
I never could beat this kid. It was my best friend called Ian Campbell, and I could never beat him. And my parents had bought me it was coincidence. They finally bought me a new pair of like high tech like trainers. They weren't like proper running spikes or anything like that, just a new pair of trainers. And I was so stoked to have these new trainers that I ended up winning the race. And I was like, what? How did that happen? I've never beat him ever. And yeah, just because you're mentally on that high, it can just make all that difference, can't it?
Yeah, that mentality of sort of, I don't know, it's all on yourself, isn't it? It's how you carry yourself. If you're in a good place mentally, you've got new shoes, you're feeling good, you're gonna run with more might, I guess.
Yeah, but like when it's on your birthdays, good things seem to happen on your birthday because you're feeling good. It's kind of like that. The universe will bring it to you because you're expecting it to come to you.
Now,
I'm getting a bit deep now.
No, well, I was going to say, like, I like to think of myself as quite a positive person, and I think that kind of shows a little bit with this podcast. But like, I think the UK scene is kind of experiencing a bit of a positive thing at the moment. I know that not everyone is in the the same place as me and some of the other community members. There are some who are stuck in the 90s, and that's fine. They can be there, and that's fine. But I actually think that being positive and moving forward as a collective, like all of us together and working together, and sharing ideas, is actually really good for the sport and really good for the progression. I think, like,
yeah, I think you're very right. It's definitely been seeing a lot more healthy progression recently. And everyone just seems to. There's no barriers, there's no egos anymore for like, oh, I can do this trick, so I'm not talking to you.
Yeah,
I remember there used to be so many egos at Creme. I can just remember some kid coming up to me. I just got a pair of Honey Fifth Elements. I really wish I'd never sold them.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They were the bomb. And this guy just came up to me and just went, mate, you know what your problem is? Your skates are too good for you. And just rolled off, and I was like, oh, thanks a lot.
Cheers.
And that, to be fair, he was really good. And I was dog shit. I really was awful. And I was just getting into it, and they were my first proper pair of skates, decent ones. Before that was a pair of Vertex or something like that, a bit like, the chocolates and stuff like that all came out. Yeah, it was those nasty ones. They had people like would actually screw like some sole plates on them because they didn't have anything in there. I just remember there was a lot of egos. You couldn't talk to some people if you couldn't do certain tricks, which you get everywhere though, don't you?
Yeah, well, I was talking to a friend recently about egos within rollerblading, and it was quite a touchy topic because obviously not everyone's got one of these old school 90s egos.
No,
but some people do, and I think it can hold you back as well. Like if you don't, move on with the times, you're just going to get stuck. And there are some people who are so adamant that rollerblading is dead that they're actually not progressing themselves as a person within our sport. And right. I like to think that rollerblading isn't dead. I mean, this podcast, if anything, proves to me that it's certainly not dead for me. And I hate doing it. I hate bringing up UKBC because it just seems to be the one thing that I always end up coming back to. And much love to Sam for setting that up, and for Stu Mason and Lewis for helping out with all of that stuff. But being in there every day and seeing the community and seeing how positive it is. It's really good, but the scenes overseas are just as good, but I like to think that the Americans, there's an ego thing going on over there sometimes. Whenever I've spoken to American players, I don't know, I think it's a different mentality over there. I don't know if it's because we're British. I mean, I'm sat here with my cup of tea right now. I think
I didn't want to have a cup of tea because I didn't want to be slurping on podcast.
I definitely think having a positive mentality is good. Definitely.
Yeah, there is always going to be a different. We are very different to the Americans. In fact, we aren't like them at all. They live their lives very, very differently. I mean, the whole gun thing is quite a different lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean the culture over there is very different, and they often say that the culture that you, I guess, grow up in, you know, and how you think and how you speak in terms of your language depicts how you are as a person. And I think that's definitely true. Like if you grow up somewhere where the language is really different and where the culture is really different, it is going to change you as a person mentally, and that's obviously going to have an impact on your skating, isn't it?
Yeah, we're all products of our environment, aren't we? And that's all we ever are going to be. I mean, a lot of the time, you don't really see people sort of breaking through from one socio-economic group up to the next one.
Yeah,
it's kind of already set out for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
What you're born into is usually what you're going to become.
There's no like moving around from one culture to another, is there? Right?
No, we all seem very stuck a lot of the time. It does happen, of course. It does get changed, and people do move. When I was out in Dubai, there was plenty of women who were moving over to Dubai to marry, you know, rich Muslim men. You know, change their whole religion and everything.
Yeah, a friend of mine's going over there to work over there for a while. She's and obviously the law is very different over there, and so she's got to consider that when she goes over there and things like that.
There's a lot of misconceptions as well with it. You have to be very concealed all the time. When you can only take your shirt off when you're on a beach, or you're in a hotel that's on a beach or got a pool around it. You can only really drink in the hotels as well because they're classed as international. But yeah, a lot of the time they are a lot. There's no like petty crime out there. It's really nice for that. It's all white collar crime.
Yeah.
And nothing negative is allowed to be reported about Dubai. And I probably shouldn't say any more than that anyway, because that's the way it is over there. Like, if you write something bad about somebody in an article, you probably lose your job because they will know somebody who knows somebody who can just get you fired. Yeah. It's very easy to find out information about stuff as well. It's really easy to talk. People give out business cards so easily. Everyone's trying to make business and get contacts, and it was really easy. I had an interview with West Coast Customs over there. I really wanted to get into designing speaker boxes and stuff for cars, but I didn't have enough experience for him, so he wasn't very interested, unfortunately. No. I did get a call back. I did have 2 interviews, but that's as far as I got.
How long were you over there for?
Just a year. Worst year ever, unfortunately. Really tried, but it just didn't work out.
You're back now and you're sort of doing your own thing, so at least you've taken something positive from it in the sense, although working for West Coast Customs would have been insane, I'm sure, you've now got SLiQX.
Yeah, it's not quite the same, but it's a starting point, isn't it? At least it's trying to actually build my own thing. But we'll see what happens on that one.
What would be the ideal outcome for SLiQX in your opinion? Like, what would be the end goal for you?
If I could be creating, the idea would be nice to be creating a ramp so that I can actually fund the park for Lincoln.
Yes.
Because there is no park. No one seems to be. People petition to try and get one here, but the residents don't seem to be very keen on it.
That's the hardest part I've found, is getting the local residents involved and things like that.
And they still kind of see it as that there's going to be loads of the wrong crowd. Is basically what they call it, and it attracts the wrong people. And it's like, well, those wrong people will be walking around you and your areas. I mean, it's really apparent around where I live. There's loads of teenage kids who just end up walking around. They get bored. I mean, the other day there was a load of kids trying to shove a bush up to some lady's house, up to a front door, and they just and I was like, what are you guys doing? It turned out like they knew a girl who lived there who they went to school with. So it was just them messing about. But the lady who actually lived there and whose daughter it was, she was petrified. She was wondering what the hell was going on. There was a gang of, utes, trying to shove a tree through her door. And she thought, so, yeah, when you're young and you like that, it is just fun and games, isn't it? You don't really feel like you're doing too much damage. You're not, what harm's it going to cause?
Exactly.
But when it's on the flip side, when you're older and you're like, if you've got kids and stuff, it does send you into straight on panic mode, doesn't it? You're like, oh, something bad's happening. Yep, right, okay, quick, get the knives, get the hatchets. Yeah.
Protect the house, protect the family.
Yeah. It's funny how you go into that mode, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So but yeah, if they just need somewhere to go and something to do, there's nothing for them to do around here.
A skate park would give them something to do. In all fairness, and that's the hardest part, is convincing the people that don't skate, the people who live there, and and it's their towns, it's their cities, and convincing them that it is a smart move. Although it can sometimes be, I know that one of the issues that I helped fundraise for 2 skate parks. One of the issues that we ran into a lot was it's going to be an eyesore. It's going to give kids places to hide in and things like that. And there's always ways to work around it. Don't put a bowl in. If you don't want them to hide, don't put a bowl in.
You can't hide in a bowl. You just walk up to the top of it and you can sit right in it. You can't hide in there. If anything, you get stuck in it. That poor kid got stuck in there once, didn't he?
Yep.
It keeps going. Always does the rounds, that picture,
with the fire brigade helping him out with the ladder.
Yeah. Bless him. He must have thought, oh, this will be fun.
Someone posted a picture of a bear that had got stuck in a bowl, and they basically did the same thing. They just put a big log in or something, and this bear eventually climbed out of it. But you turn up to a skate park, and there's a big woolly brown bear in there. I don't think we'd have to worry about that over here, though.
No.
Just the occasional chav.
On a moped.
On a moped.
Trying to jump it. Yeah, I'll jump it, mate. No worries. Yeah, used to get that all the time back at Raisin.
Yeah. Do you think there's a market for these ramps?
Hopefully. We'll see.
I've obviously seen a picture of them. I'm quite intrigued. I really want to throw some stuff over them.
The mini, this first one, this 4 foot, it's going to be a little bit different, and it should, when it's finished, have a bit of a wow factor on it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll leave that one for speculation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, it really just comes down to, with those ramps, it comes down to the material selection. And if I can get it right, if that actually does create quite a novel half pipe, it could be something that hopefully I would like to have it being able to be sold for councils.
Yep.
To make, because it'd be a lot cheaper. I've actually found somewhere I can get the profiles made for £35 a profile.
Oh, really?
Rather than £500 or £600 a profile.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I can get something like that going, and then actually have a little skate park, to start off with, and then go full into having a little design team on the side of that.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have multiple different types of sole plates for every type of skate, for even the old ones, even the Solomons.
I was going to ask about that. Obviously, like,
yeah, because you got to. Everyone still loves the Solomons. You can't leave them out. They've stood the test of time, haven't they?
Oh,
they obviously they knew exactly what they were doing and the way they made them, and which has always seemed so crazy to me. Why Nike or Adidas could never just hop on board and do it the right way. They've got so much foot technology and knowledge about different types of feet.
Yeah.
Which is why Solomon obviously make ski boots, and it does look like a ski boot, but it works. I mean, you can see it when people do it with laces, and you can see the plastic flex just nice and tight and snugging it around. Whereas a lot of the skates that you get nowadays, you can tighten it up and you won't see that much flex actually coming from the skate with some of them. And that must be because, they're trying to make them hard wearing, but, those Solomons are still hard wearing, aren't they? They've still done it. They're amazing skates. I mean, I don't ride them. I always find that my heels are always kicking up from underneath me with them. But maybe because I've never had some shock absorbers in them, I suppose.
Maybe, yeah.
And they do look ridiculous on me, especially in a size 11.
How tall are you?
6 foot.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I used to skate Solomons back in the day. I've always been a big fan of them. I've been one of the nice things about the podcast is I have access to the Blading Culture Podcast Facebook page, and people get in touch with me through it. And one lad, Kevin Rice, he's an Irish lad. He skates on his own most of the time, and to keep himself busy, what he does is he must spend all of his money buying Solomons. He sends me pictures of his Solomons all lined up on the wall. I mean, I've got one here, and he's got 8 different sets of Solomons, all in the same size, all with different frames, all with all the wheels. It's not like he's got, a set of frames put to one side for the skates. He's literally got complete setups, 8 different pairs of Solomons with complete setups. And I'm so jealous.
Fair play.
So jealous, honestly. And, that I think if anything, that says that, they have stood the test of time, definitely. Like, people really fanboy over these Solomons, don't they?
Yeah,
really.
They are definitely well made skates. Yeah, it's just like I say, it was a shame that other bigger companies didn't hop on it in the 90s.
Yeah,
see it as an opportunity rather than as a threat.
Exactly. I know that Fila had a skate for a little while, didn't they?
Yeah, wasn't it a bit like the Sabotage?
A little bit like the Sabotage, from what I've seen.
Yeah. And that sort of brings me back to patents as well, when it comes to people owning the molds, people not wanting to sell them on. It's such a shame that it can be really hard to get anything like that happening. Whereas, if we didn't have like this patent stuff, I know it does protect people's investments in their own products and stuff. And it would definitely was a good thing for Dyson.
Yeah,
because when Hoover just went, oh yeah, we'll just make them look just like his.
Yeah,
that worked out really well for the little guy actually winning.
Yeah,
but a lot of the time, it does hold us back with things like that. I mean, look at cars as well. How many different spanners and stuff people need for cars?
Exactly.
And, so if we didn't have to do patents like this, maybe we could actually progress faster, quicker, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see it if one day in the future that you could actually have your 3D scan done of your foot, and every time you want a skate made, you've got a liner that is specifically made for you,
just for you,
and then their skate is made around that, that liner size.
Yeah.
Because every skate is different, aren't they? I think everybody's got a different shaped foot, different ankles, different calves, different, just leg thicknesses.
Yeah. I mean, both of my feet are different sizes and shapes. I broke my left leg and then I broke my right leg. And so now my right leg, although it's a lot healthier than my left leg, my right foot's a little bit fatter than my left. I'm not sure what happened there. And so now when I'm skating, my right foot, I get a dead spot on the right of my foot after 2-3 hours worth of skating, and
that's not too bad. At least you get a good 3 hours.
Exactly, I still get a bit of time, and that's only because I've kind of been persistent about my skates. I sort of stopped skating SLs because I kept getting this dead spot. And the same for the Colts. I got rid of the Colts quickly because they were just killing me. Now that I'm on my Velos, they're killing me as well. And so I'm pretty much destined for aeons.
I've never been able to wear Rems or Velos. Even the Roses M12s, I couldn't fit in them. That's why I really like the fifths, because they were nice and wide. And I wish they'd bring them out. I hope that Roses bring out a Fifth Element revamp. That'd be so good.
Now, Roses are back on it now, aren't they? They're back in the aggressive game.
Yeah.
And they've taken on Joe Atkinson as well, haven't they?
Exactly, yeah. And it's definitely a good way to go. I am excited to see what Roses will do. And if they do a Fifth Element revamp, I'd be over the moon. Over the moon.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? And it's a slightly wider boot as well, so it might be something that actually draws me in. I'm fortunate with the Velos that if I went to a Roses, I'd pretty much be in exactly the same skate, but I don't know what their plan is. I have reached out to them to see if they fancied to kind of, come on the podcast and just chat about what their plans are for there. Because obviously Roses have been out of the aggressive scene for a while. I'm guessing that had something to do with the Velo thing.
Well, I guess I guess it was because, John Julio and Roses were together that's what created Valo, and that's the only way they could do it. Whereas now they're separate, then they can actually do their own thing now.
Do you think having Velo on board helped kind of rekindle that Roses love for people? Because I kind of forgot about them for a long time.
Well, versus in general, you mean?
Yeah, like I mean, I used to watch Ollie Short a lot, and he used to ride for them. But he was the only rider that I ever knew that rode for Rossis. I'm sure there were many, but I just remember Ollie Short because he had that skate with the checkered liner, and it stood out. And then, as far as I was concerned, they just kind of vanished, and I don't know what happened with them. And then all of a sudden, Velo turns up using the Rossis shell. I don't.
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, the Fifth Element was such a good skate. I don't suppose you ever tried them or had them, did you?
No, a friend did, and I used to sort of watch him skate a battered pair about.
Oh, right.
And I was always intrigued to get on them because I knew that they were a little bit wider. The sole plates looked wicked.
Yeah,
definitely.
And they were super fast. I mean, Royaling on them was just amazing. When I could actually backslide on both feet of those things, and a lot of people didn't like a Royale in them. But once you got used to it, they just kept going. And again, they probably made those things to start a PTFE again.
Yeah,
that's probably why. But yeah, they never wore out, and I don't know why. I sold them to get a friend into skating because he really wanted to. He tried those skates out for a couple of times and just been, oh yeah, I want to get into it. So I sold him those honey ones and got the new black cooties that were coming out because they were the first soft, sort of semi-soft boot that Rossis had done. So I was like, yeah, I'll try them out. I got them in a black, and they were great skates, but I wish I'd never sold them those damn Fifth Elements and didn't realise that skating would be where it is today at all. What a plonker. Because I should have followed in my mate Belty's footsteps and just kept every pair of skates, because he's always kept any pair of skates he's ever bought. So he's still got his old chocolates.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So yeah, he's got quite a cool little vintage setup. He's still got his white Fifth Elements. I think I'm so on the Fifth Element vibe just because so many of us in Grimsby had them as well.
Yeah.
And they were just a good skate. I mean, you could have a flat setup. I never actually wore any grind plates or antis with them at all. You could have a flat setup and still grind all right. But I mean, I still wasn't great, but I could still grind all right on that.
Now, I don't ride flat. I ride anti-rockers. I did try flat for a little while, like I said earlier, but what sizes are your rockers?
I do a 50 and a 45 mil. And an Aeon, like if you're on a 60 mil, you really just want a 50 mil because they're
going to sit there properly.
They're so far apart though. They're so far apart on an Aeon.
Yeah.
That's why I still ride flat on my Aeons, just because I don't really have that much trouble with wheel bite, because I mainly ride coping anyway.
Yeah.
And I've just kind of got used to just getting that bit just right. And with the Aeons, I find it's good enough. If you still getting wheel bite in the Aeons, your grind's just a little bit off.
Yeah, I think that's a position thing, isn't it, rather than the hardware? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got any skate plans coming up? I know that there's I don't know if you'll be able to make it, but there's the Brummie Blade Bash on 11th of August, I think it is. I hope I've not got that right.
Oh, that's my. No, I think I'm sponsoring that one.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
That's
so,
that one.
I am going to try and be there. Yeah. Yeah, I am going to try and be there again, and actually try and skate as well, and actually might bring my Nemesis just so that people can see those glow in the dark wheels.
I hope
see if they actually shine. If it's a good, nice day, they probably will actually come ping out actually on the colours. But we'll see about that one.
Yeah. Did you obviously, you mentioned earlier that you were at BIC. I don't know if I was at BIC as well, but I was so busy at British Inline that I didn't even get a chance to meet anyone. This was funnily enough, this British Inline was like the start of me rollerblading again. I'd taken a little bit of time out, and then obviously I went down to represent on a roll down there. I had a great time. I took my PC down, took the monitor down, and met some of the guys at the shop. Met Jake Ely from Loco Skates and everyone. But I don't even know if we know if we met properly.
No, I don't think we did. But Noki was down on
the booth
shop area. We're on a roll. Yeah, it was on the Royale Wax.
Yep.
I think a Royale little stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd have probably met Noki then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found it quite weird. I actually did try and get there a bit earlier, got held up, parenting stuff. And and ended up being like, right, well, me, I want to skate a bit. So yeah, I didn't see as many people as I'd like to. But yeah, I also got to bump into Takeshi and give him a set of the wheels as well.
Yeah, I saw he was there, man.
Yeah, yeah. He actually he did post up a picture of him of his Aeons with a set in,
Mm-hmm.
I think he used them at Jeddah, but I'm not 100% on that. He's not confirmed it or disconfirmed it yet. I've asked him, and like I say, the last photo before he actually went to Jeddah of his skates had my wheels in. So I think he might have tried them out at least.
I hope so. It was a really good turnout at British Inline. I was actually blown away. It was my first BIC, and so to be able to get there, and I literally couldn't move at one point. There was one point where I just left my computer and went into the skate park. I left it with like 4 kids all playing on a roll. They'd been there all day. I left them to it, but it was.
You knew they were all right.
It was rammed. I was blown away by how many people were there.
Yeah, I was actually. There's loads of people who ended up sort of like poking me in the ribs and going, all right. And I'd be like, well, I haven't seen you for years. Like, where have you been? People coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah. I'm just wondering why that is. Obviously, I know that UKBC has a little bit to do with this whole getting everyone connected again, because it's been a long time since we've had like a good sort of UK scene where everyone was connected and there was a way for everyone to connect. I mean, I when I sort of first figured out that we were rollerbladers on the internet, it was like the BMAG forums and the AMO forums, and they always felt a bit toxic, but UKBC isn't like that really, in my opinion.
No, no, not at all. It's just a massive vibe when you get inside. You can definitely tell the rollerbladers are around.
Yeah.
When that's going on. I do seem to see that a lot of the time now. Whenever it's a group of rollerbladers somewhere, they will be the happiest bunch that I've, at the skate park. I don't know if that's just, I don't know. I think that's just because we've been subjugated, or because the scene's so strong and so tight, because we've just been kind of shoved underground. I don't want to. I'm going to compare it. An analogy, like if you compare rollerblading or extreme sports to music, like drum and bass is like the rollerblading, and like house is like skateboarding. It's kind of the mainstream. It's kind of there that everybody does, and scootering is like dubstep. It's there. It's pretty good, but at the same time you'll be like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, poor old scooter riders. They get a raw deal, really, don't they?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, really, and I think that's only because of the younger crowd.
They're not young anymore. I was down at a skate park earlier. They're 22. These guys, they've got kids. They're scooter men. They're scooter men. Yeah. Yeah, that was quite. I found that quite weird when I was just chatting with some guy, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I've got my kid down on the weekend." And I was like, "What? You're like 20, aren't you?" And I thought I was being generous, adding a few years onto him, And he was like, "Oh, actually, I'm 22," and I was like, "Oh, okay, man, that's cool. All right." And he's like, "Yeah, I had my kid when I was 17." I was like, "Oh, damn!"
I mean, I don't know what the scooter scene is like. It's not something that I've ever.
It's massive. It's huge. Every kid does it. As soon as you go down to a skate park, every kid's got a scooter.
I know that there's a lot of people that do it, but I don't know in terms of their attitude. I don't know what sponsorships are like, and I don't know if there's money in scootering these days. There's certainly still no money in rollerblading.
So there's definitely not a lot of money now. But there seems to be enough for. There's a little bunch of guys, and they're called Royce, and they put on little events, and they've got their own clothing company just for scooter kids, and they seem to be running the mint. They seem to be doing all right, just locally, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely money in it. That's what they're all into. But, if it was the 90s, everybody was on a pair of rollerblades back then, weren't they?
Yeah.
But a lot of the kids, they look at the rollerblades and go, "I can't even stand up on them." It's like, but that's the beauty of scootering is, you can pick it up at 2 or 3 years old and be able to ride one.
Just be able to do it. It's in terms of the physical movements of riding a scooter is considerably easier, in my opinion, than rollerblading. Just that initial starting point of being able to move the thing. You're putting your feet on, you're pushing. It's not a big transition, but obviously learning to skate, you either pick it up quickly or you have to put in some time.
You've got to put in some time to actually just be able to skate around, haven't you?
To gain your balance.
Never mind actually going up a ramp. I mean, yeah, I've never actually used a scooter at a ramp until like last week, because luckily my little boy doesn't like riding scooters. He actually likes his skates and his bike. So I'm pretty happy about that. So so every time I take him down a skate park, he goes on both of them. So while he's on his skates, if I can't really wear my skates with him, because I kind of find it's really hard going that slow and that low, and then trying to have to climb up stuff, sidestepping, and help him climb up sidestepping as well. Yeah, so I just keep my trainers on. And while he was like, "No, Dad, I'm going to do it myself," I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to let you do that." Yeah. I was like, "Oh, can I have a go on this scooter then while I'm waiting?" And within in 5 minutes, I'd learned how to 180 on back and forth on a half pipe, pump up and down. So that's how easy they are. Whereas like you couldn't really do that easy on. I suppose you can do it on a skateboard. Yeah. You can learn to pump up and down on a skateboard like that, but you still got to be able to ride a skateboard. Yeah. And you got to be able to know where to put your weight.
I was quite fortunate, when I first put rollerblades on, the actual motion of skating I picked up in a day, forwards, backwards, etc., jumping. I was quite a natural when it came to actually using the skates to move. But in terms of the aggressive side of it, I think it took me like 7 months to drop in my local half pipe because it was terrifying.
Yeah, I was a bit like that. Yeah, initial start point, put them on. I could skate about. I could jump up curbs. I could do 180s straight away. That wasn't a problem. But yeah, doing something technical.
Doing stuff that's going to wow someone.
Yeah, it was completely different. Yeah. Just doing an air and making it look good. Doing a grab and making it look good. That's where a lot of the skill comes in, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah. What do you think about style in rollerblading these days? Because obviously, there's a
It's definitely an each to their own. I think we just need to keep an open mind with all of that. Style really does come from just kind of taking step by step, I think, doing the same thing over and over again till it's only easy. It looks easy because it is easy because you've done it that many times. Yeah. That's really the only way of making stuff look good. I'm sure that's what people like. I'm going to say Roman Abrat because he's one of my favourites.
I was about to ask who your favourite to watch is in terms of like that wow factor.
Yeah, Abrat is definitely one of my favourites to watch. I actually really like most people to watch at that ride of the feast, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of European riders in there that we don't normally see. And, yeah, a lot of them have got, massive tricks and still look really good doing it. But, yeah, I think Abrat's style is one of my favourites at the moment just because he just rides away like he is skiing. Yeah. Just smooth.
He does, doesn't he? I always thought that whenever I watched him, he has this kind of, if you watch him next to your pro skiers and stuff, they're flying over these ramps, and so is he, like in the same sort of way, like really smooth and really clean, almost like he's on snow. I think he does
a lot of training that way. Yeah. Really takes his training seriously with the airs as well. Really puts in the time on that, and. Was he the first to do a kangaroo flip, or was that just something he's just become a bit famous for?
I remember seeing it. He might not have been the first, but he was definitely the first that I saw, clip that. Definitely, and that's the weirdest looking trick. He also does like flat spins to back royales and stuff, doesn't he? Unbelievable. I've been seeing a lot of it at the moment, like flips to grinds and stuff, and I like that people are pushing the weirder stuff now, and they're making it look really good.
Yeah, I've got to admit I'm not a fan of toe or heel rolls myself. Well, maybe because one, I can't do them, and two, I know it doesn't look the same. A manual is hard. It is hard, but a manual on a skateboard, a manual on a scooter, or on a BMX, they all look pretty good. Yeah. Whereas otherwise, we're kind of, if you're doing a toe roll, it does kind of remind me of like you standing on your toe, doing a bit of a ballet thing, which being brought up in the 90s and being kind of everything it had to look dope. Everything had to look good. No pointing toes, definitely not. No. B-boy and you never pointed a toe. You always brought your feet up, if anything, the opposite. So yeah, for me, if you can make it look good, and it's good, fair play to you because you're better than me because I can't do it. Then it's for each to their own with that. I think we've just got to try and all be a bit more open-minded because I think definitely I've been stuck in the 90s as well. I mean, I still skate with baggies on, but that's mainly because I pad up, knee pads, shin pads, butt pads, you name it, wrist guards, helmet, a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, to try and hide all those pads, I do wear baggies just for that.
I actually don't mind loose clothing when it comes to rollerblading, though. I find that, I've had this conversation with a couple of people, and one person in particular who really adamant that loose clothing or baggy clothing is the way to go in terms of being a better rollerblader. I'm not sure how true that is. Honestly, I think it's in your head. If you want to be a good rollerblader, you've just got to be committed to being good. You've got to know what you want from it, and then you just got to put the time in. If you like Roman Abrat, for instance, you've seen the skate parks that he gets to skate every day. He's got big parks where he can practice those big tricks, and he can practice. I don't have the time to go out every day and practice. I don't have the time to practice my heels and my toe rolls. I certainly don't have the time to practice back savannas on handrails. So in terms of what I'm wearing when I go skating, it's just whatever I'm comfortable in. But I do think that the bigger clothes are less restricting. I just don't wear them myself.
Yeah. I can understand, like, people can wear whatever they want. It's up to them. But yeah, I do find that I do like it a bit looser. But the fact that they're wearing pads anyway, if they were a bit tighter, then they'd be constricting my pads a bit more. So I probably would have been a bit more restricted there. But I mean, another reason I don't wear skinny trousers, I've got skinny legs and I've got a big torso. So, I look like Johnny Bravo. So there's no point me wearing skinny jeans. I just get laughed at, especially having big feet.
Yeah.
I'd look like a golf club. So it's just stupid for me. I would just look ridiculous. So I'm better off just looking like a 90s reject.
Talking about pads, do you wear a lid? Do you wear a helmet?
Always, and I am a big man for shouting at anybody not wearing one.
Yeah, well, we went skating. Yeah. I went skating on Thursday at Ramp 1, and it was supposed to be a casual session. I wasn't supposed to do anything stupid. Anyway, the session got taken to the down rail, and then I was like trying true spin asses down the down. I got it, in all fairness, so I'm stoked about getting it, but I didn't get it straight away, and I whacked my head on the floor, and I still think I'm a bit concussed. Like, I still got a bit of a headache from it, and I know for a fact that I hit my head pretty hard. I carried on though, and I did it, but I would have. And I'm at that point now where I'm going to try and have to get myself a helmet again. But I'm more concerned about my shins. I know that shouldn't be the case, but I've started skating ledges more, and oh my god, bruises and grazes and cuts. But I don't know anything about pads. I know a little bit about helmets, but I don't know anything about pads. I don't know if you know anything about shin pads at all. In terms of brands,
I don't do a lot of ledges, but I want to do more. I don't do a lot of rails, but I do wear shin pads, and I wear those G-Force ones.
They're like a squishy moldable, aren't they? They move around a little bit.
They take the sting out for me. Yeah, that's good enough for me.
I don't want anything that's restrictive in any way, like the solid plastics. I don't do that.
I've seen some people with solid plastics, but they seem to literally just sit just in the right place, and they don't seem to bother them.
Yeah.
But yeah, those G-Forms or G-Force or whatever they're called, they seem to be fine. I just slip them just at the bottom of my knee pad, and it just sits just right. And yeah, like I said, it just takes enough of the sting out, but you still know you'll hit your shin if you hit it really hard.
Yeah,
it's just there, just so that just enough, I think. But lids wise, I actually have a snowboard helmet that I use, just simply because it's the same job, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I didn't see the point in buying another one. But I've lost all the stuffing out of it because I used to have dreads, and I took all of the stuffing out so I could fit all my dreads in there. So now it kind of like sits, it kind of wobbles from side to side a little bit at the moment. I've got to get some more foam. Yeah. So I just do this chin strap up, but. Yeah, I'm definitely like all for always making people wear a lid.
Yeah.
A friend of mine actually recently just, who I always end telling him off for not wearing a lid. He just had a really bad accident and snapped his arm. I was skating a rail at Rock City, bless him. So shout out to Sprout for that one. Went to do a backslide on this handrail, which he hadn't done a backslide on anything else. So I didn't know, I've talked him out of it once, and when I wasn't there, he went and did it. Went down on put his hand down, had wrist guards on, and still snapped both of his arms, both of his bones.
Oh.
And it came out of the skin as well.
Oh.
And he was there with his son as well, so that wasn't fun for him, I don't think. Yeah.
Have you ever had to suffer through any injuries?
Yeah, I tore both knee ligaments, like the ones on the inside of your knees. I just fell awkward in a like Wecky Park in Lincoln, and just caught my toes just at the top of the coping. Just when you're trying to air, and just caught them there. And as I came in, I landed on my knees as they caught, and then my feet were basically underneath my armpits.
Oh my God, yes. Ugh.
Yeah, both of them at the same time, getting wrenched up there, and they just both went like that. And someone thought I'd broken my skates because of the noise that it made. But yeah, I just literally just torn the ligaments, and that put me out for about 7 to 9 weeks. I couldn't lay on my side. I had to always have pillows underneath them. I was on crutches for a little while as well. That one, but they actually came back stronger.
I was going to say, how are they now?
Perfect. Yeah, they've come back a lot stronger. Like, if you want to have strong tendons, you've got to tear them a bit, and then they'll get real strong.
Yeah. Well, I had a knee injury, and although, as far as I was concerned, after my recovery period, I was on crutches for about 9 weeks myself, and then obviously I started putting weight on it again, and I started skating again, and it hasn't really been an issue since. This is about 4 years ago now, but just this year, it's creeping up on me, and it's a concern. I remember having a phone call a couple of weeks ago with Craig about recovering from an injury, and it's quite a process. And if you don't do something about it at the right time, it can actually. Because now I'm worried that it was maybe a case of I just didn't do enough to kind of help better my knee back then, and I'm worried now that obviously it's going to get an issue. So I'm on the yoga, man. I don't know if you're into yoga. But,
oh, right. Yeah, I think anything like that's a good idea, actually.
Just getting that motion back and stretching and moving it about and, developing it again. I don't want it to get, next year when my rollerblading is better than ever. Like, I've had a really progressive year so far this year, with my handrails and new tricks and feeling more positive and being part of a community that's really positive. I really don't want it to, hinder me in any way. So I'm trying to up my game now with my fitness. I don't know if you stretch before you skate, but I think you should, man. Like, always stretch.
Yeah, I do
before
actually.
You skate.
That's that's what I try and do every time now. When I get there, is actually have a bit of a stretch. I've actually seen some people like sort of eyeball me from across the skate park. They're like, what the fuck do you think he's doing?
This isn't fucking school.
Yeah. Come on, you old man. I've actually people actually been given will snake me, and not have a problem with me simply because I've been in the corner having a warm up, having a stretch by myself. Which is kind of really lame, but I just it probably does bother me sometimes, but I try and let it wash over me eventually. I don't say anything anymore.
No,
because you just come across as a dickhead if you say something, don't you? Yeah.
Just do your thing.
Yeah, just do your thing. But yeah, I was also stretching while we've been having this conversation, to be honest.
I'm always doing it. I'll be sat at my desk and I'll be like stretching my leg out, trying to sort of keep it from, because sometimes I'll find that it seizes up, and it's always a worry.
Oh, right.
I'm getting old now. I'm like 32 this year. I know that you're a little bit older than me, but my knee feels about 40.
It doesn't matter. Once you're past 30, I think that's it. You stop counting because it's disappointing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's the same. And, now you're just starting to die slowly. And that's it. It's all downhill after you get 25, to be honest, for me. And I think by the time I was 27, I couldn't handle hangovers anymore. So I don't drink anymore because I can't do that. I can't handle gluten either.
Oh, really?
Ever since my little boy was born, I've had IBS because I gave myself food poisoning like 4 days before he was born. So ever since then, my stomach's not been right. So I have to eat really healthy too. But that's quite weird because I can't have things like lettuce or onion or broccoli or lentils, like all the things that you'd like, they're really good for you, yet they mess my stomach up.
That's like everything I put on a kebab. I'm not going to lie.
Well, lentils. Lentil kebab.
Oh, man.
But I can't have mushrooms either. That really sucks.
Yeah. So how is your diet then? Do you find that you have enough energy to skate?
Well, yeah, I've also got hypoglycemia as well, which doesn't help, which means I burn off blood sugar real quick. But yeah, that means I have to eat like every 2 hours. So if I go for a big skate, I will always take something with me. That'll be like, luckily my fiance is an amazing cook, so I'm really lucky with that. She always packs me up with some sort of chicken and rice or something like that.
Yeah.
Some Filipino dish she'll do for me. Yeah. But yeah, I have to eat a lot and always sort of home cooked as well. But I've actually noticed that I'm a lot healthier for it. I actually struggle to put weight on now.
Yeah, I can imagine, actually, funnily enough.
Yeah. Well, not eating bread as well and beer.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That really does make a big difference.
No, I've never been a drinker. I mean, in my younger days, I would drink like a fish, and still be able to go skating the day after, you know. But now, like, if I have a couple of beers, like we went to the Thursday night skate at Ramp 1, and then we all went to pub after for a beer. I felt weak after that beer. I came home, I felt rough. Like I wasn't drunk.
Really?
I wasn't drunk, but I don't drink ever. Like ever. I don't remember the last time that I had anything to drink, really.
So it didn't get you tipsy then? It just made you feel rough?
Just rough, like straight away. Like in all fairness, the session was amazing. So, you know, having a good skate like that, I even ended up in the bowl, and I don't skate bowl ever. But when you're around like Pete Colquitt was there and Lewis Yoxall was there and Elliot and Craig, and it was a really good skate. And they were all like, "Do you want to go pub after, Eric?" I was like, okay, we'll go pub. And we had a pint, and then I got home, and I just felt like I haven't been skating since. I've not really felt like the need to. I feel bloated from the beer.
No, it could just be the place and the dodgy pipes. So
yeah,
it might
maybe
not have been the actual beer.
Yeah,
but yeah. You get that around Lincolnshire. You get some dodgy pipes sometimes. My dad will end up telling me about it the next morning. But yeah, I don't want to know how many times you've been.
No.
But yeah, that does happen. But yeah, with me, I can't have the gluten in the beer. And the only stuff I can have is like spirits.
Yeah.
So yeah, and white spirits really. So that's like gin and vodka. I can have Jack Daniels as well, and a bit of whiskey, but I can't have much of it because again, that upsets my stomach. It's a pain, and I find that because I drink about 3 liters of water a day, the alcohol really dehydrates me, so I get a hangover really quickly. So I can even have if I have 4 shots, I'll get a hangover like straight away.
Really?
Yeah, like it. So yeah, I go on the water and people are like, "You're all right." And it's like, "Yeah, I'm hungover," and they're like, What now? The session's just started. I'm like, yeah, I know, yeah, it's me done. Yeah. It has made me realise that I don't actually need to drink to have fun, though. I don't think it does make me a boring person, but I also don't enjoy going out so much anymore. Unless it's got a decent night and there's going to be, a decent act on or a decent show, But yeah, I don't really just, when you used to go, I don't want to just go out for the weekend and be like, no, it doesn't happen anymore.
No.
Especially when I've got kids. Like, it's just too tiring. You can't be hungover and parent.
Yeah, no chance.
You just become a bad parent.
Yeah, you've got to be on the ball, haven't you, with kids? Like, you do have to be there. I was going to ask, do you get much time to skate being?
Well, I'll take them to a skate park now, so it's even better. I actually skate a little bit more, just because it's only that half an hour. I'm trying to make the most in like that half hour or hour or so that we have. But been quite lucky with some of the skate parks. I actually took him to the House skate park in Sheffield.
Uh-huh.
He's actually the youngest member there now.
Oh, really?
Which is pretty cool.
How old is he?
He is 3 in August.
Okay.
Yeah, so got him in it pretty young.
Good effort.
And he does love it. Yeah, he does actually say most evenings when I come home from work, like, "Can we go to skate park, Dada?" Like, yeah, of course we can.
Why not?
Not a problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The only problem is a lot of the time it's a 15-minute drive to get there. A lot of the time he'll fall asleep like 2 minutes before we get there, and then I'll try and wake him up when we get there. He doesn't want to know.
Yeah.
That's the only downside. But a lot of the time we get there and he loves it.
That's good though. It's good that you have the ability to, kind of skate and parent and, keep it all together and also, you've got so many projects going on, with the wheels and then, thinking about the sole plates and thinking about ramps. You're obviously quite a busy lad. But it's good that you still get time to skate.
Well, yeah, I think it's just, you got to just try and live the life you want to live anyway, haven't you? Because at the end of it all, it's not really our lives anymore, is it? We're just kind of working for the almighty dollar.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just got to make the best of the time that you do have once that's finished, once that work's finished. Yeah, I think actually having a kid kind of gives you that bit more that perspective. Like time is getting shorter, and like try and make the most of those 24 hours in that day as you can.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you get a lot less free time anyway when the kids come around.
I've often found it quite grounding, if that makes sense. It kind of brings you back down to a more like
it sees everything. It makes you see everything from a different perspective completely, doesn't it?
I definitely grew up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? When I became a dad, like I kind of grew up a little bit. I stopped with all the the other stuff and just kind of focused on sorting myself out and being in a good place before becoming a dad. Like my brain was elsewhere, but obviously since being in that situation, like since becoming a dad, like I found myself able to focus better on my own projects and I don't know. I think being in a better place mentally helps to kind of, I don't know. I'm always, it sounds really cheesy and Mrs. always laughs at me, but I often think like if you think in a positive way, you're more likely to have a positive outcome from life. If you think in a positive way, you're going to see more positivity.
I think you're perfectly right there. That's not stupid at all. It comes back to it goes up to physics and the quantum level, and the double split experiment. I don't suppose you know of that, do you?
I don't think so. Go on.
The double split experiment was what the Hadron Collider was for.
Oh, okay.
The big giant one.
Yep.
And they're trying to work out whether these tiny little particles are actually a particle or a wave.
Yeah.
And so when they send it through this slit, it should put a pattern on the wall. Whether then when they send thousands of these tiny particles through, it will give the evidence whether it is a particle or a wave. What's strange is that if they look at it, it gives one reading, and when they don't look at it, it gives a different reading. It knows when it's been observed, which kind of means that you can create your own universe. So yeah. If you're being positive and you're thinking positive things, more positive things are more likely to happen to you.
Definitely. I like to think that if also being in a sort of a positive mindset can often help to channel your energy into the things that you do like. So if you're in a good place, you're going to work harder, you're going to do more with the things that you've got going on. Obviously, I've seen projects start and fail. I've seen hardware companies start and fail, and I don't necessarily think that's got anything to do with attitude, more to do with like the blade economy. So, but I've watched friends like almost ruin themselves by just woe is me, right? But in each to their own. But I've just found myself personally that just forcing myself over the last sort of 4 years to be a more positive person has really paid off, definitely, in my skating, in my life, and in the things that I do outside of skating. And it's cool to be able to see other people doing that. When you look at UKBC and people who are interacting with this podcast, everyone seems really upbeat and everyone seems to like what it is and they like what we're doing. And I'm really enjoying the podcast. I know that the people that are listening are getting a lot out of it and they're really enjoying it. I just wondered, like, what did you think of the podcast? I know that there are podcasts out there already that are available to listen to. Do you listen to any of the other podcasts?
No, the main other podcast that I listen to is actually Hospital Records podcast. Just because I like my drum and bass, and that's my favorite label.
Yeah.
And yeah, when it comes, I listen to, what else do I listen to? Oh, there is another one. I can't think of what it's called now. But every episode that I have listened to so far on the Blading podcast, I've really enjoyed listening to it. I'll just put it on in my car and listen to it on the way to work. But yeah, so it works for me. I like it. It's a bit like, you feel like you actually listen to a radio show that's, just a topic for us, just for once, just for Blading, because we never get any limelight on any sort of show. So yeah, it's nice that I can put it on, on my phone and then in my car, or listen to it whenever I want. And yeah, so it does feel like can now be on the radio for once.
Well, the thing is that I got offered the opportunity to take the podcast to a radio station and run it there instead. but there were quite a lot of limitations and quite a lot of restrictions. Obviously, it's
you've
a
got
set evening. If no one can do it,
Mm.
I'm just talking to, myself for 2 hours, and there's only so much I can say about rollerblading. I mean, I'm sure I could talk for hours and hours and hours, but being able to talk about it like with yourself, I've been actually quite eager to get you on, because out of everyone that I've spoken to, you seem to have quite a few things to say about stuff, and you have your own opinion. And,
an opinionated
an
idiot.
opinionated
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah, I'm gonna be an opinionated idiot. Yeah, I'm honest. That's pretty much it. I just try and be honest with how I do feel about stuff. Yeah, I will call a square if I think it's bullshit. I will say it.
Yeah.
I will point it out. But yeah, a lot of it, no malice involved. If it's something bullshit, it's still with tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really hold any grudges against anyone, really. Against anything, to be honest. There's no point. Life's too short. Plus, if you're always holding a grudge against somebody, you are always connected to that person forever. You will never be you will only be free of them once you let go and you've just forgiven them and just say sod it, because it's not worth wasting your time over it. It's not worth. The only person who's suffering still is you.
Like, if you're going to struggle in life to let things go, like, you're just going to bring yourself down. You have to learn to let things go. And in a community as small and sort of niche as ours, grudges, they go on for a while, and they get dragged through the mud, and other people get involved. And it's quite nice that at the moment I don't really see it. I don't see
anything like that in blading at all anymore. Really, when it comes to grudges at all, I don't see any grudges. I've seen some bitterness and stuff online, but I mean that's usually worldwide, but it's not within the UK scene that I really see.
No, I really enjoy it. Every time we have this, I run a podcast. I talk about how I'm enjoying watching the UK scene as it is, and I've found that quite recently it's just developing. More people are coming in. I've seen a post today from someone on UKBC saying that they've just started skating in the Manchester area. He's looking for skaters.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Like,
yeah,
that's round the corner from me. Like, I will hit this guy up, and then that's another rollerblader. And as far as I'm concerned, like, I skate in Manchester. Everyone that I skate around up here is super positive, and like Matty Vella, like, every time I see Matty Vella skate, he gets better and better and better and better.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, it's always pushing it. I met Matty at the Works, I think, when I first just finished my neon Aeon mod job.
Yeah.
I don't suppose you've seen the photo of the Aeons, surely?
I think so. Is it on the
blue flock?
Yeah.
The one with the blue flock on. Yeah, those ones. So yeah, I just done them, and they did pop. They did look nice. So yeah, that's how I met Matty, because I was just talking about skates. But yeah, I just remember watching him roll, thinking, God, that guy's got nice flow. He can really flow around the park really well. Yeah, it's quite strange that he wasn't part of the old school crew, because he's quite young, isn't he, in comparison to us oldies.
Yeah, I mean, I like when Matty started skating, I'd already been skating like 4 or 5 years before he even moved to the town that I was living in as a child. So as he moved there, I moved away, and I was already like 16, well, pushing 15, 16, and I'd already been skating for 5 years, and Matty wouldn't find rollerblading for another 5 years. So he's one of the young ones, definitely.
Yeah, and annoying that, just taking it to the level that he has as well.
Yeah, Matt is so much better than me. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he talks about it, and he says things like, well, you've got 10 years on me. Yeah, all right, fair play, I've got 10 years on you. But you're still better.
Actually, now having 10 years on him is now actually becoming a disadvantage.
A disadvantage.
I've got 10 years worth of more, impacts, injuries, and body starting to fall apart.
Yeah, the youth.
The youth. But that's the thing that we really need to get as well, is the youth, getting some more kids into it.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to even go about that.
I know it's a difficult one, because obviously they're not online and they're not part of our groups and part of our scenes, and so it's more a case of grabbing them when you see them. But it's only they're only going to get interested by seeing what we do. So yeah, I definitely think that if we continue now, like, to put out that positive vibe, when we all skate together. And when you skate by yourself, like when I go skating, I will talk to whoever is there,
Same.
whoever
Yeah,
it is,
same.
no matter who they are and what sport they're into. If they say hello to me, they better be ready for a 20-minute conversation about rollerblading.
But yeah, I will do the same, especially if I'm by myself. I'm like, right, okay, who's willing to talk to the old rollerblading idiot? Who's going to talk to the fruit pooter?
Yeah.
And then, normally some kid who can actually string a sentence together will actually come up and talk to me. Normally, never a teenager. I normally find that as soon as you get to teenagers, you get scared that someone's just going to be horrible to you, I think. That's the way it is at school, isn't it?
Don't judge me.
Horrible. So, yeah. Yeah, if I don't talk, then, nothing negative can be said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like the general attitude, even with the scooter kids, like, the ones that are about, 8 to 12 years old. A lot of them are really nice kids.
They're all right, aren't they?
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, they're just the way we were, to be fair.
Yeah.
I even take my, it's actually my brother-in-law, it's my sister's, I'll get my words out right. It's my fiance's younger brother. But he's only he's just turned 12. And I take him to a skate park every now and again with him and his mates. And they all skateboard. One of them had brought a bicycle helmet with him because he didn't have another helmet.
Yeah.
And he was getting ripped on by these other kids just for having that bicycle helmet. I was like, man, it's still a helmet. Who cares?
I know,
he really didn't want to wear the helmet anymore.
Yeah.
You could see he didn't, but he still obviously had to because of the rules of the place. But yeah, I was just like, oh damn it! And I couldn't even spot it whenever they were doing it. They'd always do it whenever I wasn't about. So kids can be the worst.
They can be the worst.
Yeah.
Do USDs still do those transformer skates? Because I don't think it's quite so easy for kids to get into rollerblading. It's considerably easier to buy a scooter, I think, these days than to buy a pair of rollerblades that are small.
Yeah,
really
I think they
small.
do the transformer. I think they're still around.
Because I think Solomon do like size 4 or size 5. I think they go down to a size 4, or they did go down to a size 4. Because Kate Egan used to skate them back in the day, and I used to look at her skates, be like, I'm going to chop off my toes. I'm going to get my feet in these. But I just don't know if there's much out. I mean, skates are getting expensive. I'm just going to throw that out there. Some skates are getting so expensive.
I think that's just one of those demand things where it's always high at the start.
Yeah.
Because the shift just haven't had a big price plummet recently. Yeah, and it's just because everyone wants it at first, and then once it's a bit like DVDs and music and everything like that. It first comes out, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Well, iPhones, first come out real expensive. New technology, when first comes out, real expensive. And after a while, once everyone's got one, then they go, right, we'll drop the price now. And you're like, well, hang on a minute. If you can still make a profit on it at that price, then how much profit were you putting on it beforehand?
That's my only worry, is that I think that sometimes something comes out, and I mean, that's not to say that it's not worth it when it comes to videos on demand, all the little sections that you can choose to buy through. So if Brosco releases a section and it's £4, I'm paying for it.
I'll do that just because it's our scene, and I want to help the scene. But yeah, if it's a big movie, I'll wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the Avengers to come around. I've had that spoiled for me.
Oh really? Don't
watch that. Yeah, I've already know what's going on with that one. I'm buggered with that one, so I'm like, I'm just going to wait for that one to come out. I'm just going to stream it as well. I'm not going to watch it and pay for it at all now. Yeah. What's the point? It'll be free on Kodi soon, I swear.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it actually comes to our scene, yeah, I will definitely always do something like that, especially for those videos.
Yeah.
People put in a lot of hard work for that.
Yeah.
You've got to support it, best you can.
I mean, it takes time to make those kind of things. When you're looking at, you watch someone's quick, 3-minute section. It doesn't seem like a lot, but then you watch through it, and they've travelled and they've been everywhere, and it's cost them money to make it, and
it's the editing as well. So
yeah.
Not just the skating.
It's the production time
into it.
And the time it takes to put it out and put it all together, and
all the falls they might have had, the actual pain and injury that's gone into doing it as well.
I think it's a worthy investment, definitely.
Yeah, that's another thing that's a bit of a shame that we don't get better community when it comes to broadcasting ourselves with some of the events and stuff. We've almost got it there, but not quite. It'd be great if there would exist like a little team of people that could actually, have different cameras pointed around a skate park and actually have it set up so it almost looks like high production. But I reckon it could pull a high production looking setup where it looks like an actual sporting event on a TV could be done at, a lower budget price than, what you'd really need and still make it look okay. But yeah, I'm not in a position to be able to do that, but I reckon it's definitely plausible.
Yeah. What did you think? I know that obviously we've been like pushing 2 hours now. I just wanted to ask because when I'm sure we're nearly finished now. But have you watched any of Revolution on Sky One?
I have been watching it when I can because I don't actually pay for a TV license, so I don't get a live stream from anywhere.
Yeah.
So I watched the version that was on Facebook that was through a phone on someone else's TV. And then I've tried to watch someone elsewhere as well. But I did really like it actually. I mean, to be fair, it's never going to show all of the sports in the light that any of us would ever want.
No.
But I just think, it's a good show. At least we get some exposure somewhere. And the rollerbladers have been killing it as well. I've been making it look really good. So, it's good. And that Steve-O doing his little stunt, it's got to be Steve-O, hasn't he?
Had to be, yeah.
He's still Steve-O.
Yeah.
I don't have any beef with Steve-O really at all.
No.
I mean, he's brought himself back from being at the bottom of a bottle, basically.
Most definitely. He seems to have a really good attitude, doesn't he, right now? Like, he's got that old school attitude that you sort of remember from the Jackass days, I guess. Just generally taking the piss out of everyone.
And himself.
And himself,
really.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
But
himself more than anything, I think.
It's the first time I recall seeing rollerblading on like a mainstream TV show.
Since the days of Rad.
Yeah.
On Channel 4, yeah.
So it's kind of cool. And although it doesn't really show, like you say, it doesn't really show rollerblading in like its full element. It doesn't really show what everyone, you've got Burston on there and he's jumping around the course like a little ninja, but it's not catering to his specialties. No,
but from what I understand, I'm thinking Broskow. Broskow, didn't he actually start off on hockey?
Yes.
I think that's obviously why he's really good as well.
Yeah.
I think he was just sort of saying, everything seems to just come kind of naturally to me. But he did just have a natural talent for it, really, then, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it started as hockey for me, funnily enough, but the hockey didn't last long. I got bored of the whole team aspect of it.
I think that's why a lot of us actually get into rollerblading or extreme sports, because the whole team thing can kind of suck. I didn't really enjoy playing football or rugby for the teams that I did, just simply because I didn't always get on with everybody on the team. And I think that, makes a big thing. And tennis became my next thing on that, because you didn't need a team. But tennis is very much a mental game, and I was a bit of a mental kid. So, you need to be able to sort of keep yourself together. If you let your anger get in the way of yourself, then, you're only defeating yourself, really, aren't you?
Yeah. So, do you do any other sports?
Wing Chun. I like to do that, but since having a baby, it's gone out the window, that. But I do think of myself as used to be a very sporty person as a kid.
Yeah.
Football, tennis, rugby, like I say. Did volleyball. Awful at basketball. Wasn't allowed to play basketball at school. I was too violent. It's too rough. Just used to playing rough football, I guess. I could play badminton and play tennis at pretty high standard. But I just enjoy rollerblading as my main lifestyle way of keeping fit.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do.
It's good. It's a good way of doing it as well. I think it's a really good way of keeping fit, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever look at people who rollerblade a lot, they don't need to necessarily go to a gym. And for some, I don't understand why, but top halves of rollerbladers always seem to be well built, even though we didn't use our arms a lot. I guess picking ourselves up a lot. I guess I don't know.
Falling a lot and picking yourself up a lot. You know, you're going to be using.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's the twisting thing. Maybe I was saying in a podcast earlier, like when I'm jumping on handrails stuff, I tend to tense up my whole body to the point where I make a stupid noise in my gut, like. Maybe it's got something to do with that. Like, I've always had quite a big upper
you're probably
body.
right. There's a lot of core muscles being used when you're getting up and then balancing like that as well.
Yeah.
Having to. One thing that I found quite weird is if you pump a half pipe or a bowl on a skateboard, I can go on it. I can pump around a pipe twice as long as I can on my skates. It's just kind of strange. I don't know why it's so much easier. Why it's so much less effort. You know, less wheels. It must be just the way in which you've got a wider stance, if you like, and one foot behind the other, that you can do it like that. And I suppose when you're going forward on your blades, your point of balance is even smaller. So, but I just don't quite understand the physics of it. How it seems to be like half the effort to ride a skateboard on a half pipe than
to do it
just
on
pump
rollerblades.
back and forth. Yeah, it's really weird. But yeah, I guess that's obviously another reason what keeps us a lot more fit, because it's a lot more effort.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and there's no getting off, is there, when it comes to rollerblading? You think, well, I've done that trick. You know, if you're a skateboarder, if you've done a trick, you can get off and pick your board up and give it another go. But as a rollerblader, you're falling, you get up, you skate back. You know, you're constantly moving as a rollerblader, constantly.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, just once you've fallen over in a half pipe, you've got to work your way back up to the top again every time. Whereas, skateboard, you can just throw the board up, climb up. Bit easier. So yeah, that might also be where it is. We have twice the amount of workout just getting up and down. Yeah, I never really thought of that bit, actually.
I know it's a weird concept to sort of look at it in terms of how it would keep one fit. Like I've never really looked at, you know, in terms of how rollerblading keeps me fit. I've always just been appreciative of the fact that it does. Like, 31.
The thing I find strange is, why do I have skinny legs when I've been rollerblading all these years?
See, that's beyond me. I
never understand
I've no idea.
But yeah, actually, I really want to find out about John Murray's exercise routine. Maybe you could do that for the podcast. We'd get John Murray on. John Murray's a John Murray leg special.
A leg special.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Luke Mercer was saying that, you know, he can jump up to his nipple height when it comes to skating.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to do something like that for some ledges.
You need to for some of them. Some of the best ledges I've seen are like way out of my reach, and same for handrails. Like, I'm fortunate in Manchester that although a lot of the rails are quite high, I know that I can get on them, you know, from practicing. But I don't know, I need to get my jump game back on.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some good, decent routines out there to actually help get you that boost. Probably like your calves as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's just keeping fit, isn't it? And rollerblading's a good way to do that. I don't do any other sports really, apart from podcasting. I'm not sure if I can class that as a sport.
Not much of a sport, no.
It's good for breathing exercises, you know, trying not to breathe down the microphone and remembering to breathe and talk, and you know, it certainly feels like just as much effort as a session at the skate park. You know, when we finish today, I'll be out of breath and tired and dehydrated from talking for 2 hours.
That's true. Actually, yeah, it just actually I have actually got kind of sweaty actually talking about this, because I've been gets your brain thinking, gets your mind moving, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, because we're hitting 2 hours, I'm just gonna say thank you very much for taking the opportunity to come and chat with me. I know it's taken a while to get to this point, but I think that's helped as well. We've been able to chat in the meantime, and you know, it's always scary, like spending 2 hours on the phone to someone you've never met and you've never spoken to, and you don't know anything about them. Yeah,
and then just having to go straight into conversation. Yeah. No, it's been pretty easy though. No, especially when it's talk about rollerblading. You know, you can't. It's not going to be that hard.
You can't go wrong.
General interest. No. No, not at all. But yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. Thanks very much for having me on.
Thank you very much for taking the time to come out and talk to me, man. I know it's late, and I know it's a mouthful and whatnot, but it was cool to kind of get your aspect on it. It's nice.
Oh, cheers, dude. Yeah, I've been really really happy with the response I've been getting from everybody. Everyone's been really positive. I've not had anybody come back and gone, these were a load of shit. Yeah. Well, not yet anyway. I hope no one does. But yeah, if anyone ever did have an issue, I would definitely be like, well, send them back. I'll send you a fresh pair. That's another thing when it comes to a product. If you've got a good product and then good service, aftercare as well after that, you can't go wrong then.
No, definitely. Right. Well, thank you very much for coming on. If anyone wants to check out SLiQX Wheels, by the way, you can check them out on Facebook, can't you? At SLiQX Wheels, SLiQX Wheels. Can people buy them from you? Where are you at?
Yeah, at the moment, I haven't got it set up like that. If you just if you just message the SLiQX page, I'll get back to you on there, and I'll be able to sort of give you all the details on how to actually get a set.
That's good.
So it's pretty easy. You just have to talk to me, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's not. I don't think anyone on mine now. I think everyone knows everything about you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I've kind of given it all away now, haven't I?
But really good luck with it all. I know that we'll stay in touch, I'm sure. And if you're going to be hitting up the Brummie Blade Bash, I'll catch you there and we can discuss the feedback.
Cool, man. Yeah,
I might even try and get a pair from you whilst I'm down there, and I'll bring some money down for you.
All right. What colour will you want?
Probably red, like the Velo red.
The first set of red. You can have the first set of red then. How about that?
I'm honoured.
I've not done red yet, so I can actually get some. I know I can get the colour, so I'll get it sorted for you.
Thank you very much.
No
I'm
worries,
excited
man.
to try them, but I'll leave you to it, mate. Thank you very much for coming on, man. Much appreciated.
No, you're welcome. Cheers, dude.
Take care.
Take it easy. All right, bye.